This story unfolds in a world where the realms of gaming and reality have intertwined. The protagonist, a low-skilled orphan, is given the opportunity to transform into a formidable dragon, capable of annihilating any hunters bold enough to challenge him. In the previous chapter, Su Yang traveled to the transmission center and set off on a journey into the cold moon jungle. There, he faced the monsters that were part of his mission. Without hesitation, he utilized a vast supply of high-level scrolls to defeat them. After that, he went over to the boss and unalive it with one powerful swing. Now on to the next part. After taking down the boss, Su Yang sifted through his loot with high hopes, only to be met with disappointment. The items dropped were mediocre at best, a far cry from the riches he'd amassed as a dragon. Among these, the Wolf King's crystal core stood out, not for its value to Su Yang, but for its sheer lack of appeal. Still, he was done with his quest, so there is that going for him. And so he decided to go back to the transfer hall. But before he could, Zhang completely heard his dismissive comments about the core, and so he tries his luck by asking Su Yang if he would be so kind to just give it to him. But little did he know, Su Yang had caught every word of his earlier disrespect and his plans to use him as mere bait. And therefore Su Yang confronts Zhang about this, and his shitty personality, because now that things didn't go as he pleased, he has the audacity to try befriend him and get what he wants. Well, too bad. Su Yang isn't a pushover that they can just step on, and so Su Yang shattered the core in front of Zhang's face, establishing dominance and a lesson not to mess with him ever again. And if he so wants to fight him right now, he would be glad to give him some smoke. And because Zhang was bitch-made, even though he was violated like that, he didn't do nothing, and just let Su Yang walk away. At the same time, Zhang's crew can't believe what just happened as well, and they wish all of this was just a dream, because no one would even believe them that they encountered a damn rookie this strong who can kill a boss with one swing. A few moments later, Su Yang had successfully returned to the Hunter's Square, where he was met by the nun he had recently encountered. She initially thought he had come back with more questions, but Su Yang quickly set the record straight, informing her that he had completed his 5-star task and was ready for his job transfer. And only shock could be seen on her face. This was understandable since he took up a 5-star transfer task after all, and finishing at this rate is totally unheard of, which in turn made the nun skeptical. But as she checked out the receipts, it seems like Su Yang wasn't lying at all. Su Yang had indeed accomplished the task, and with this, the nun began to see him in a new light. This guy isn't a show-off nor an idiot after all. It turns out he was really powerful. So powerful that it made people wonder if he was cheating. But the system won't lie, and the fact that he returned uninjured speaks volume of his strength. But as she continues to look at him intently, Su Yang felt increasingly uncomfortable, and so he snaps her out of it by inquiring whether he could now initiate his job transfer, which was successful, and so the nun led him to the statue once more. But as they made their way to the statue, the nun found herself increasingly preoccupied with thoughts of Su Yang's remarkable strength. She considered how advantageous it would be for her church to have someone of his caliber exclusively. Luckily, she had already informed the priest about Su Yang, reducing the risk of him being recruited by others. But as she continued to think about Su Yang, her thoughts took a more personal turn. She revealed to be down horrendous for real. Like damn, she a nun, but she down to get dirty with Su Yang since he is also pretty handsome. And she was even thinking of getting his contact information after this ordeal was over. And the thought of being with this guy is already driving her crazy. But these thoughts were momentarily set aside as they arrived at the statue, and not a moment wasted. Su Yang stepped closer, and almost instantly, a burst of light shines above, and then several beams of light descended swiftly, and penetrated him in succession, filling him with powerful energy. This spectacle signaled that he had successfully passed the test, and was now prepared to undergo his profession change. And then immediately, a golden halo started to materialize around his wrist. This was a job halo, a special reward given to players who complete the job change tasks, and its color and the bonuses it provides vary according to the difficulty of the task completed, starting from white for a 2% bonus, green for a 4% bonus, blue for a 6% bonus, purple for a 10% bonus, and then to orange for the highest tier, offering a staggering 25% bonus to basic attributes. This is beyond what he expected, and he could feel it. He had really grown significantly. Additionally, he also changes to a demon warrior class, a hybrid class, adept in both close combat physical skills and a broad range of magic abilities, enhancing his versatility and overall power. Furthermore, since he had completely changed his job, his level cap was elevated to 40, and the surplus of 400,000 experience points from his previous endeavors instantly boosted his level to 34. This significant jump provided him with 210 attribute points, which he swiftly allocated to enhance his strength and spirit to 90 each, and his speed by 30. This strategic distribution of attributes combined with his flaming sword, dramatically amplified his capabilities. Su Yang's strength surged to over 500, his spirit reached 300, and his speed climbed to 100, marking a substantial evolution from his initial state. But the blessings didn't end there, as he had also received the promised epic skill book, specific to the demon warrior profession, in which contains an epic grade skill named Magic Blade, enabling him to forge a weapon out of condensed magical power, inflicting full magic damage, and the damage of it increases with his strength and mental attributes. This was such a great skill that Su Yang didn't think twice to try it out, materializing a blade made out of mana, and swung it, but to his surprise, the skill's capabilities exceeded his expectations, as the blade can be controlled through mere thought, and can even be transformed at will without being restricted by appearance. This adaptability made it invaluable for close-quarter combat and ranged attacks alike, and the most important thing about this skill is that it could be enlarged infinitely, and only limited by Su Yang's mana reserves, which is equivalent to owning an heirloom weapon that couldn't be destroyed, showcasing remarkable cost efficiency. There was no doubt that it was indeed a 5-star job transfer mission. The distinction was clear, as the rewards far surpassed those of lesser tasks, and with this, Su Yang resolved to pursue more 5-star challenges in future job changes. But his trains of thought were disrupted by the nun, congratulating him on his achievement, and from today on, his name will be engraved on the temple monument, and he will become a VIP guest of the job transfer temple. But speaking of VIPs, Su Yang went ahead and asks what the privileges were, but the nun was unsure of the details, and so she suggested waiting a moment while she sought clarification from her superiors. But it seems like there was no need for that, as another figure showed up to the scene, willing to explain everything regarding matters related to VIPs. And all I could say is, damn. I don't know about you or what the temple is cooking here, but I need to reincarnate now. I will definitely work damn hardest and become a pope that will spread the temple's words and their Dressed in an enchanting white gown, the newcomer was none other than Bai Ling, the senior priest of the transfer temple in Dangling City. Her arrival caused a stir, surprising even the nun. The position of senior priest is nearly equivalent to the highest authority within the temple, making her presence at this moment noteworthy. But the equally surprising thing that Su Yang had accomplished was enough of a reason, and naturally she had to receive such an important guest in person. But with Bai Ling now present to address any inquiries and formalities, the nun's role was rendered unnecessary, prompting Bai Ling to politely dismiss her, which she understood, but deep down, she was crying her hearts out, as she had not yet acquired Su Yang's contact information. Now that was settled, Bai Ling approached Su Yang, extending her arm for a handshake. Initially puzzled by her gesture, Su Yang hesitated until Bai Ling explained that it was simply the easiest way to transport him privately to the VIP room for a more detailed discussion. Trusting her intentions, Su Yang grasped her hand, only to witness a magic circle envelop them, a precursor to their sudden teleportation. In an instant, they found themselves in a different section of the temple, revealing the handshake to be a sophisticated space transfer technique. Su Yang marveled at the realization that a temple priest from a third-tier city possessed such advanced abilities. No wonder people say that the strength of the transfer temple is unimaginable. And as Su Yang was thinking this, Bai Ling noticed Su Yang's look of wonder and modestly downplayed her abilities. She mentioned that her skills weren't inherently powerful. Rather, they are just borrowed power from the temple's sacred statue, that's all to it. On the contrary, he is more surprising. According to the current records, there had never been a 5-star job changer in Dangling City, and even in the Tianling City, the last successful 5-star job transfer had occurred a decade prior. This surprised Su Yang, since Tianling City is the superior city of Dangling, and its development level is several levels higher than that off Dangling. But only one of them had been able to complete a 5-star task in 10 years. So it seems like the value of completing this 5-star transfer task were far greater than he had initially perceived. And just as he had realized, Bai Ling began detailing the suite of benefits awarded to him by the transfer temple, in accordance with its long-standing traditions. Firstly, Su Yang was to receive a generous monthly allowance of 10 million in the national currency, a substantial sum that underscored the value placed on his accomplishment. Secondly, he was granted a black gold status authentication from the X-Alliance, entitling him to a 20% discount on all purchases and transactions, a privilege that would undoubtedly make his adventures and endeavors both more efficient and cost-effective. This revelation left Su Yang in awe of the temple's largesse, particularly as these benefits were seamlessly integrated with his ID, simplifying his access to these newly acquired privileges. However, Bai Ling had more surprises in store. She further explained that Su Yang's exceptional status also afforded him the opportunity to join any A-level guild within the city, But Su Yang, accustomed to operating solo, inquired Bai Ling if joining a guild was obligatory, which Bai Ling reassured him it wasn't a requirement, but strongly recommended considering it, as the collective resources and support a guild offers could significantly accelerate his growth and strength. An individual's ability is limited, after all. Furthermore, joining a guild comes with added benefits like experience buffs, aura enhancements, and crucially, team protection, making it an attractive option over going it alone. And Su Yang understood this line of reasoning. And it is also true that a solo player can easily be targeted, especially those like him who had taken the spotlight. While confident in his abilities against a hunter of the same level, facing a significantly higher level hunter could pose real challenges, and having a guild would likely prevent that from ever happening. And he really needs any help that he could get, since his aspirations extended far beyond the confines of Dangling City. He aimed to become a dominant figure across all realms, a prospect that puts a smile on Su Yang's face. Now that was decided, Su Yang asked Bai Ling what guilds are there to choose from, prompting her to reveal that there are currently only 2 A-level guilds in Dangling City. And based on various data, she recommended the Spirit Hunting Guild as the most suitable option for him. This suggestion landed awkwardly with Su Yang, considering his recent encounters with members of that guild. Eager to explore alternatives, he prompted Bai Ling to introduce the other guild, leading to the mention of the Yuyun Guild. Unlike the Spirit Hunting Guild, the Yuyun Guild was known for its strength and discretion, competing closely, yet maintaining a low profile. But Su Yang doesn't care. He only wants to join any guild other than the Spirit Hunt Guild. So he chose Yuyun without much thought, which surprised and confused Bai Ling. But choosing this guild would be much more of an entertaining sight for her, and so proceeded to manage the membership formalities on his behalf, seamlessly integrating him into the Yuyun Guild's ranks. But before Su Yang could depart, she very much liked to inform him that the Yuyun Guild is composed entirely of women, completely catching my boy Su Yang off guard. But that's how our chapter ends. But one thing's for sure. In the next chapter, he would be drowning in that. Hey! All jokes aside, if you like this commentary, like and subscribe for more. Peace.